Does it work now? Yeah. So,
Okay.
you see.
When I speak it works too, right? Okay, great.
Yes.
And let you do the intro? Or
I will do it.
okay.
Hello and welcome to the top 4 game of the first regional near Paris in France. Here we have 2 players, both playing straight seismitodes. We have on the side we're looking at is Merlin Quittek from Germany, and his opponent is Philipp Schulz from Germany as well.
So I think they're both playing Toad decks, as we can see by their starting Pokemon. And David, I think they're playing the exact same list. Is that right?
Yeah, they both play the exact same 60 cards, and they both know at the end one of them will deck out. So they just draw pass because they don't want to waste resources. And the one difference was that Merlin attached a Fighting Fury Belt, while Philipp didn't.
Okay, so I think that we saw Merlin draw a DCE, but he didn't play it.
Yeah.
Why is this?
The problem is they both have 3 Flare Grunts and 2 Xerosic, so they don't really want to take the risk to attach a DCE and then attack with Quaking Punch, and your opponent will just play Xerosic, and then you have to attach another DCE. Then your opponent can play Xerosic again. So until they played 2 Xerosic and 2 Flare Grunts, then you don't have any DCEs left. And then you have to attach a Water Energy card. And the moment you attach the Water Energy card, your opponent can play Versus Seeker on Flare Grunt again, so you will lose all of your energy cards.
Okay.
It's a bit weird, the matchup
Okay,
is.
yeah, so I see it's... Okay, if it's the first time you're watching Pokemon, it's not usually like this. It's really strange to have these 2 players just doing nothing but drawing and passing to end their turn. But if you're thinking that why did we choose this match? Well, the other match in the top 4 has a Wailord deck in it, so it's even more drawing and passing, I think.
Yeah, it's Wailord against Night March. So Night March is not able to one-hit knock out Wailord, and Wailord just heals itself. So yeah, we have 2 games in top 4 where every deck is just like, draw pass, your turn.
Yeah. I guess there's gonna be some action at the when the players reach the end of their decks.
Well, the thing is, they can risk like attach energy and then play Judge. Hope your opponent doesn't draw anything, but you get another energy, so you can attach a second energy card, and you can always only remove 1 energy at a time. Yeah, until we actually see
what Merlin is doing.
Yeah, he tests DCE and then he plays Judge.
Does he? I guess he does.
Alright.
Okay, so we're gonna have the first attack of the game after 36 turns.
Yeah, Quaking Punch, saying your opponent isn't able to play any item cards from their hand.
Yeah, that's a very powerful effect, and I think we can say that it's has been maybe the most important Pokemon of last season, I mean.
Yeah, really.
And
the moment it released, you always play decks with Seismitoad. Every new set just gave it another partner, but at the moment you play just Seismitoad.
Exactly. We thought that when Lysander's Trump card was banned, that Toad decks would be less popular, and they were, but still a Toad deck got 2nd place at the World Championships, and also another in top 4, and this year it's still played, either with Giratina or, as we can see, just Toad by itself.
Yeah, so Merlin attaches 2nd DC to a Seismitoad, which prevents Philipp from, playing Xerosic, and then Merlin is still able to attack because he has 2 energy cards in play. And he also had a Flare Grunt for Philipp's energy, so this is very nice play by Merlin.
Yeah, now Philipp is forced to play a Shaman to draw cards, and I assume that this is a problem because Merlin can just Lysander it to stall and prevent opponent's Quaking Punch, right?
Yeah, that's true. And it's always... he can attach Hattering into it. But I think both players don't... they try to play the least amount of cards they are able to, because at the end of the game, well, like most of the times, you just don't have any energy cards to attack with. Merlin... it seems like Merlin might be able to attack the whole game, but if Philipp draws his Xerosics and Flare Grunts, he can just remove all of Merlin's energies. And now that Philipp has enough bench Pokemon to not lose because his only 1 Pokemon got knocked out, he also has a lot of options.
Yeah.
And now he actually attacks an energy card who is benched.
Yeah.
Seismitoad,
So the energy is cannot be removed with Team Flagrant, but I think that these players play Crushing Hammer, right?
Yeah, both have 4 Crushing Hammers in their decks. So Merlin might be able to get a Crushing Hammer heads on the benched Water Energy card, but he doesn't. The thing is, if he wants the Crushing Hammer, he should play a Draw Supporter, but he doesn't want to play any cards down, so it was relatively safe for Philip to attach the energy to the benched Seismitoad.
And now the Seismitoad is gonna be able maybe to attack. We see a DCE, and Toad. However, this Toad doesn't have Fighting Fury Belt, so he's gonna only deal 30 damage, and it will only have 180 HP.
Yeah, and both players also have 3 Rough Seas in their deck.
Oh man.
So now that Philip is under the item lock but doesn't have a Fighting Fury Belt, Merlin is the player who can deal 40 damage, which will get healed until only 10 damage. But Philip can't deal any damage when Rough Seas is in
So
play.
it's gonna be very long, but at the end, Merlin's Seismitoad will not have taken damage, and Philip's Seismitoad will get knocked out.
Yeah, eventually.
But that's so many turns that both players have the time to draw into their Xerosic, Team Fragrance, and so on.
Yeah, the thing is, Merlin doesn't want to play down the stadium because, well, his opponent will have the good effect from it. But Merlin doesn't want to risk losing from bench out. For example, in this situation, he has 100 damage, and Philip just needs a Water Energy card to win the game. Because Merlin doesn't have any bench Pokemon, so now he had to play down the Shaman on the bench, which he usually doesn't want.
Yeah.
And this prevents Philip from just using Grenade Hammer, because he has to keep the Quaking Punch up.
Mm-hmm. What happens if one player decides to play Grenade Hammer and they break the item lock?
Usually, the one player plays Versus Seeker for Flare Grant, Versus Seeker for Flare Blend, to change every Versus Seeker for a supporter, and they also get all the Super Scoop Up and Crushing Hammer again.
Yeah.
So, using the Grenade Hammer is a high risk.
Okay.
So you usually never really want to do this.
So it's just like last year, right?
Yes.
I haven't played those since Trump card was banned, but I remember that using Grenade Hammer was, in a mirror match, was always the wrong play.
Yeah.
Unless you're literally winning the game with this.
Yeah, so now he actually went for Grenade Hammer, because Merlin can't retreat. They both don't play Floatstone, so they really need to attach a Water Energy to the Shaman.
Yeah, but he gets a Super Scoop Up, right? If he has a bench Toad.
That's true. The only way to get a Shaman from the active spot is to flip Super Scoop Up heads. So Philip used Grenade Hammer because he had to get rid of the Toad with energy cards, and now he hopes that Merlin doesn't have Super Scoop Up heads. But let's see if Merlin is even able to get one of these out.
So he uses the fact that he can play items to play the Crushing Hammers that he has in his hand, gets tails.
Yeah, he can also play Enhanced Hammer, so he doesn't have to flip and can get rid of the DCE immediately.
Okay, so here we see Absol. That's an interesting tech that has been played in some Toad decks. Since Philip got second place at the ACC, I think it played it in his list, right?
Yes.
And so the Absol, if you don't know, it allows you to, when you put it on the bench, you can move 3 damage counters from one of your opponent's Pokemon to another one. And so Merlin, I think, is using Absol and Super Scoop Up and Absol to move enough damage from the Toad to the Shaman in order to knock out the Shaman and move closer to the win. No, he has only 2 prizes left, but he still hasn't found a Toad. Okay.
Oh, but he was able to get, he got 2 energies from Philip.
Yes.
So if Philip doesn't get the Quaking Punch here again, Merlin is in a good spot.
Yes.
Absol is very, very great card. You can use it in a lot of situations. For example, today I use it very often. I knocked out the basic Pokemon from Garchomp with it. I knocked out Pumpkaboo with it. It's just a great card because you can lock your opponent's Pokemon active and move the damage to the bench. So, for example, your opponent has Miltank active, which has True Retreat cost and only deals 80 damage for 1 energy card. You deal damage to the Miltank and then you can move it to the bench with Absol. Mm-hmm. So, it's also important to get knockouts on things like Evital EX. So you deal 40 on anything, then you move 30 on Evital EX, and then with Grenade Hammer you deal 140, which is 170. And this is the best way to deal with Evital, for example.
Okay, yeah, that's very precise math. But, yeah, and I think, did Philip pass? I think he made a gesture to pass his turn. Or didn't?
I'm not 100% sure. It looked like he just passed.
Yeah, I think.
He played Versus Seeker for Shauna and passed.
Yeah, I think Merlin's the one playing, and he has a double colorless. He's gonna use Sky Return this turn.
Yeah, it would be good for Merlin to get another Shaman in play, so he can move around the Shamans a little bit.
Yes.
The problem with this is Headringer.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that neither Philip nor Merlin played their Headringers yet.
No, we haven't seen any Headringer unless it was discarded on something. And here's this sort of Shaman, Dance of the Shamans, as some people call it, where you just Sky Return into another Shaman, Sky Returns into another Shaman, etc. You allows you to conserve your double colorless energy, so it's always in your hand, so your opponent can never use Team Fragment or Xerosic or a Hammer to take it off. And as long as the opponent cannot deal enough damage, your Shamans will be safe. But that's not what Merlin is doing. He's promoting a Steel Method, which is still the main attack of the deck, and because he wants to be able to put the item log back.
Yeah, Philip gets an Headringer on the active Steel Method, which is very unfortunate for Merlin, because now he needs a Xerosic to get rid of it. Or another Toad and AZ.
Speaking of Xerosic, Philip gets one.
Yeah,
and no target for it right now.
Yeah, but now if Merlin attached the double colorless, Philip can just play Xerosic.
Yeah. So Merlin attaches his water energy first, so that when he gets the double colorless, he can Quicking Punch, because he needs one more energy in order to attack because of Headringer.
Yeah.
And he played a Flagrant of his own. I haven't counted how many energies have passed, but maybe the decks are running low on energies.
Yeah, there were quite a few. Usually, like both decks are able to knock out one Seismitoad with a few energy cards, and both of them can't Quaking Punch the whole game. So you will always have the situation where one of the players can play their Crushing Hammers and Hands Hammers, or play the Versus Seeker. So usually one of the players runs out of energy cards, and then both just draw pass. And the person who managed to get rid of all of his opponent's energies without playing more cards wins the game.
Yeah. We have drawing more cards. Merlin has to.
Merlin got the Xerosic, and he plays Xerosic for the Headringer, and now is able to attack.
Yeah.
He also got another tool down.
The belt, so his Toad is gonna be very bulky.
I think Philip's Toad has 60 damage on it.
I think, but it's hard to see.
It's this ECC dice with the picture. So 60 damage when Merlin gets one attack off, it's on 140. No, it's 100 damage. So, well, let's see. If Merlin has enough energy cards, he might be able to knock out.
He seems to have a lot of energy nail in his hand. I think we see another Team Flagrants, so he can still remove Merlin's energy. By the way, do these players? I don't think they are playing Puzzle of Time, right?
No.
Okay, because that would be a way for them to recover some energy, provided they can use the Puzzle of Time, which is harder under item lock.
Yeah, the thing is, both have no way to get any energy card back.
Yeah.
So
no Super Rod, nothing.
Yes.
Okay.
Once an energy is in the discard pile, it stays there.
Okay. So I think something that's going to be important, as you said, David, to decide who wins is how many cards the players have left in their deck. And, well, we don't have access to this information. I think that Philip's deck looks bigger to me, but that could be a trick of the camera.
Well, it actually looks bigger, and I'm also quite sure that Philip still has his Shauna. It's both play one of Shauna, so they are able to shuffle a lot amount of hand cards in the deck again. And yes, like you already mentioned, Philip's deck looks bigger, and also I'm quite sure he still has his Shauna.
Okay. I think Merlin has a VS Seeker, so he could VS Seeker for Shauna. I think that's what it seems like that's what he's planning to do, but
yeah, it's very annoying to play in this matchup. But it looks like he rather goes for the judge.
Yeah.
The problem with judge is that you shuffle your opponent's hand cards back too.
Yes. But then again, I think... Oh, he didn't play the judge. But I think that it's a problem, but if he can get a double colorless energy and they judge, I think he wants to... His hope is to create a situation where Philip doesn't get Zero Sick or Steel Flagrant for several turns, and then Merlin can just Quaking Punch for a few turns until the safe method is knocked out, and then he wins the game because he only has 2 prizes left.
Yes.
So, okay, and there we see Merlin playing the judge. So both players will shuffle and draw 4 cards from their deck, and that's I think a good opportunity for Merlin because Philip has only a Toad on the bench and there's a Headringer on the Toad, so he's a bit far away from being able to Quaking Punch.
Yeah, I don't think Philip will ever use Quaking Punch in this game. Like his one Toad is Headringer, but I think Philip just waits for the deck out.
Yeah. So we have to see if the number of cards in the Merlin's deck is enough to be able to win before his deck runs out. And he also needs an energy to attack, right? Because he only has 1 water energy for now.
Yeah, and also if he gets another water energy, Philip also has Lysander and Flagrants. Mm-hmm. They both didn't seem to play the Lysander, and Merlin again goes for Ultra Ball, discarding a lot of cards he might need to be the one player who has more resources left at the end of the game.
It's interesting that although both players play Rough Seas, neither one has played it since the beginning of the match. So they both know that it will make the game even longer, but I think it would be in Philip's interest to play the Rough Seas if he has it, I guess, because he only wants to not die.
Yes, that's true. But Philip will only play it like in the one situation where he really has to. So when the Absol is knocked out, then he might play the Rough Seas because like he doesn't have enough. I'm not quite sure if Philip has enough resources to attack, but Merlin, it doesn't look like Merlin has.
Yeah, but
yeah, so Merlin has like 3 deck cards, and Philip still has a bunch.
Yes. So.
And it seems like Philip won the game.
Yeah, Merlin scoops. He shows that his last water energy was in his prizes cards, and he knows that he would deck out before Philip. Okay, so that's the end of the first game.